everyone, how are you all? I am Ananya Mishra, your host, welcoming you to yet another episode of this podcast, Upfront and Personal. How are you, everybody? I am personally really excited because this is our 10th episode, guys. I cannot believe that we made it this far. That there are 10 episodes now that will be available on all of these platforms of my podcasts. And I would sincerely like to thank all of the listeners from different corners of the world who are listening and who are my trustworthy audience and who has taken precious time out of obviously their busy, hectic, stressful days to come here and listen to this podcast. Your love, your appreciation, your attention means the world to me. And, in the last week of 2020, I remember I was just sitting and I was contemplating whether I should do this, whether I should not. And, I have other things going on. Will I speak about something worthwhile? Should I be doing this? What do I have to contribute to this? I had so many questions in my mind. I'm just so glad that I took this leap of faith. Um, and I cannot put it in words that now I'm here actually recording my 10th episode. I'm proud of myself, but I'm also extremely grateful that, that something like this is happening in my life and I'm here and releasing the 10th episode. Actually, not a lot of people who are listening, you might be thinking, what is the big deal in having a 10th episode? Like, most of the podcasts have so many episodes anyways, but I think what I have learned in 2020, if nothing, is to celebrate and be happy about small wins. And for me, I don't consider it small win at all, so let's just be happy together. Anyways, so I'm here to talk about one very prominent thing that actually came to my mind after seeing a meme. So I saw a meme recently on Instagram which says, "God, this pandemic, I have to keep ordering things online so that I have something to look forward to." Now, as funny as it is, I am someone who is really interested in personal finances and who does online shop, obviously considering pandemic and everything. And considering right now I'm in a small town and there are not many things that are available around me. And I'm not so comfortable stepping out to get anything. I think online shopping is my go-to way of shopping right now. But I started thinking about the addiction of shopping, and I started watching this video on YouTube. Um, I think all these social media platforms keep promoting each other. You see something on Instagram and then you start thinking about that topic, and you go to another social media platform or like another entertainment platform, which is YouTube, and you start looking for videos related to that. And I started going through these videos of shopping addiction and how specifically America is dealing with that. And that people were saying that on an average, an Americans buys 66 pieces of clothing in a year, which I think is excessive. It is subjective, of course, yes, but they were saying that because of fast fashion, because of things being so cheap, and if you are in a um, high paying job, and if you're single, you don't have many responsibilities of an elderly person, or if you're spouse or kids, or you don't have any down payments, you feel like you have so much money sitting in your bank account. What do? You spend it all. And there's this thing in millennials that millennials are not that good with their spending, and especially they are not good with savings and investment. And because of this wave of online shopping and everything being available on a click, especially millennials, they are very irresponsible about how much they should save, how much they should invest, and everything is just so accessible and easy for them. And yeah, they just get carried away. And they say that after clicking add to cart and after clicking buy now, there's a there's a dopamine reaction that happens in your body and in your mind. It gives you a kick. It's almost, that's why it's called shopping addiction and not just a habit of excessive shopping, because they actually equate it with substances that we actually normally associate the word addiction with, uh, which is like drugs or alcohol or smoking. And all of those things, I watched a number of YouTube videos and documentaries on that. And there's a really nice channel on personal finances which is called 2 Cents. Go check it out. There's a couple who talk about personal finances and how just by making small changes in our lives we can save a big amount, and why we are actually focusing on buying some frivolous things, maybe a showpiece or a cute thing that I saw on a window, or a new H&M sweater, or a new water bottle that looks really cute, and new diary that is so cute and so beautiful, but I'm never going to write on it because I type away everything and I'm actually not a writer. So because we are spending all of our money in buying all of these frivolous things, we actually don't have money for the more important things in our life, which are emergency funds, which are long-term investments, which are insurance, which are money that we should be saving for buying like a car or a house or any long-term plan in our life that actually has significance. Sometimes we don't even understand that. If I'm talking in strictly in terms of Indian currency, that if we are buying something for 100 rupees, we think, oh, this doesn't have a big financial impact on my finances overall or on my life. Like, just because I want this cute thing for 200 rupees, it's not going to alter my life. Like, I shouldn't even be thinking or mulling so much over these over these decisions. But things add up. I'm not saying that for every 100 and 200 rupees you have to be having an anxiety or a paranoia about it, and you must just hold on to money as as tightly as possible and never let go of it. No, there is one thing of being addicted to shopping. There's one thing being a reckless spender, and the other thing is being anxious about even spending nominal amounts of money. Both are not healthy attitudes towards money. I don't think that. And money and shopping and spending, saving, these are pillars of personal finances, and I do definitely mean to make another completely different video on it, but podcast on it. But my thing is that we have to have a healthy, positive, and balanced attitude towards how we perceive the money that's sitting in our bank account, how we perceive what we want and what we need. Now, people always say that draw a line between what you need and what you want. Absolutely. But what if you have a high disposable income? You get everything that you need. Of course, pay your bills first. Take, necessities come before luxuries. Take care of that. But what if you have like money that's left over? I'm not saying never buy something which you just want and don't need. But if you want 10 things, how many that you should actually buy? How many of your wants are legit? And how many of your wants are frivolous or could be avoided? Fulfilling all your wants does not necessarily mean that you're addicted to shopping or you're a reckless spender. Maybe to start with, you are a simpleton and you don't have many wants. To create a balance between how much should I shop? Just because I have money in my bank account, I should spend it all is definitely a very wrong way to look at it. But how to determine that, are you addicted to shopping or do you just have a very high disposable income? That's why you shop here and there a little bit, and it actually does not have a big financial impact on your future. Are you someone who gets things just because they are on sale? Are you someone who gets excited because some online platform has sent you an email? Are you someone who just open these apps to just see what all is in there, so that you can get whatever you want. It's okay to surf online shopping platforms like Amazon or Nika or Flipkart or anything of that sort. But are you someone who does it regularly or very frequently? Are you someone who, when looks after at the end of the day, who looks at the apps that you have used for the entire day? There are many shopping apps that are popping up, and not on one day but on many days. You know the answer. Especially the shopping edition has been propelled and supported by online shopping, as we were talking about earlier, that everything is available, at a click. Our cards and our UPI, everything is associated with these platforms. Not only does that threaten our cyber security, but it also makes it super easy for us to order things, and then it will come in 3-4 days. Especially with Amazon Prime, you want something in 2 days, it's on your doorstep. The fact that we used to think that, but in online shopping it will take like a week or 10 days, let's just go and get it right now, even that factor has been negated by Amazon Prime. So how to combat this? We can do this, guys. We can. Even though we live in a capitalist world out there, even though we live in a world that practices as well as preaches consumerism, we can still find a balance where we get everything that we need, we save and invest for a future, and we get some things that we want also, because there is no reason why you should absolutely not shop. There is no reason that you should do that until and unless you are someone who has been diagnosed with a shopping addiction and you are trying to recover from it, or you are actively working on your shopping habits or on your spending habits because you have been in a pickle before, or you think that what you're doing is not healthy and you're trying to reevaluate your shopping steps. That's different. But on an average, people do shop, and this is something that you shouldn't be feeling guilty about. Only when a limit is crossed, then it is a red signal. So I have 5 ways here in which you can, if you are someone who is on the journey of reevaluating your shopping habits and you want to sort of put a stop at this, I have 5 steps here as to how you can try and keep your shopping habits in check and not give your bank account basically a heart attack. The first one: if you like something on an online platform, just put it in a cart. Just select if it's a clothing item or anything, select the size, select the color, whatever, and put it in the cart and let it sit. Just sit down and put on a paper all the different categories that you usually buy things of, like for example clothes or bags or shoes or books, makeup products, anything like that. And then also write down the time for which you want to put that item in the cart for. For example, if you buy a lot of t-shirts and you don't want to buy any more t-shirts, but then when you see a cute t-shirt, you want to buy it. That page should have how many days should you put that t-shirt in a cart. For example, it's 10 days. Put that t-shirt in your cart for 10 days. And after 10 days, you come back to it. Of course, in a busy, high-paced life, you will feel like you will forget about it. Right now, if you ask me what all is in my Amazon cart, I absolutely have no idea. So, if you see that you are still thinking about that one particular t-shirt, and after 10 days you still feel attracted towards it, you're still thinking about the contents in your cart, then maybe that's meant for you. Then you actually want it, and not just because it was the cutest among all the options that were available, or you just saw it on an Instagram ad, or maybe at that time you were feeling low and that's why you clicked on it and you wanted to buy it. Shopping can be curbed and shopping can be controlled when there is a thought process behind it. We as humans like to do the things very often which are very easy, which we can do while also being lazy. If after giving second, third and fourth and fifth thought, that top or that t-shirt or that particular item still is appealing to you, still you feel yourself being attracted towards it, then there has been a full on thought process behind it and you still like it. There are 90% of the times I put something in my cart and then or in my wish list, and then 10 days later I'm looking at it, I'm like, what was I thinking? This isn't cute. Oh, there are delivery charges. Oh, I don't want this. Now I don't want that. And I keep deleting these things. And I tell you, if I open my Amazon wish list right now, if there are 18 items or 20 items, 90% of the things I am able to just chuck them right now. And I am someone who does online shopping. So I am someone who isn't a miser or who absolutely never spends money. I like cute things. I am attracted to things which are very pretty in color. I am that person. So if I can do that, anybody can do that. So yeah, marinate. Basically, my friend used to say, marinate your things in your wish list and your cart for a really long time, and then figure out if you actually need it or want it actually or not. Second thing, have a no buy and a low buy week in the month. So usually we have 4 weeks and 2-3 days in a month. So out of these 4 weeks, have a low buy week and have a no buy week. What does that mean? Low buy week means that just like, for example, if you are someone who spends 1000 rupees on shopping in 1 week, try spending 100. Whatever you would like to, and I'm not talking about like paying bills and necessary things, just normal frivolous stuff. Like, just see on an average how much do you spend in a week, and then spend 10% of it or 15% of it, which is a low buy week. Maybe you are allowed, like, you have a 200 rupees ka budget in that particular week, and then have another week where it's no buy, where you absolutely are not spending anything on going out or on online shopping or anything. Just cold turkey, just go cold turkey. I think that really helps. Usually I would not recommend having a no buy and a low buy week consecutively, because then you break down. If you like, I have bought nothing, and especially if you are someone who is recovering from shopping addiction, or you are someone who is trying to improve on your shopping habits, there is a chance that after 14 days, what you'll do, you'll just go and spend all your money like that, because you are no more in your low buy or no buy week. When actual week of spending comes after 2 weeks, you're just going to just give in to all the shopping craving that you had, and everything in your cart and your wish list is going to be on your credit card. And I don't want that to happen, okay? Like, craving shouldn't be, especially if you are dealing with cravings shouldn't be so controlled and smothered like that when that dam is open, there has to be a flood of craving. Do you understand what I'm saying? If whenever a dam breaks, the flow of the river, it increases for 10%, or even not even 10%, like, I don't know, 100%, and then it becomes a flood. I don't want that. I want the river of your cravings to flow very smoothly without any hurdles or obstacles. Am I making any sense? I don't know. My father is a civil engineer. I'm trying to make sense. He'll be really disappointed in me at this point. Moving on. Okay. The third one is, what you can do is, whenever your spending week is, you order things, okay, and then you wait. Especially if you are not ordering it through Amazon, if you don't have Amazon Prime, if things are taking a little bit time to reach you, just wait for them to come. And take lessons from that meme that we were talking about earlier. You have something to look forward to. Why are you buying something today? Something that you bought last week is coming right now. So what you do is, you spend your money in your first week, not all of it, a little bit of it, and then let it spill over in your low buy or no buy week, so that 1 week where your spending week is, where you got the joy of spending money on things, and in your low buy week you got the joy of receiving those things. So you shopped once, but 2 weeks were sorted. That is amazing, isn't it? And if you have to buy 5 things, space them out in 5 days, so that if something that makes sense to order separately, if they are have to be, they come from different online platforms. If you can afford to order them separately on separate days, separate occasions, do that. Plan it out. Whenever you have a week where it's not a low buy, it's not a no buy, you can spend out of, if you order 5 things on one day, you will keep on ordering and keep on buying something for the next 6 days of the week. But if you space it out, you will buy 5 things again, but you will feel the satisfactions 5 times more, because you'll feel like, oh, today I spent money. And it actually happens. People who are addicted to shopping, they feel like, today I didn't buy anything, but spacing out would really help in that problem, as well as receiving things. Also, what you can do is, in addition to having low buy or no buy week, what you can try is, if you can't do a week, just specify 2 or 3 or 4 days of a week where you're not allowed to shop anything, especially if it's Monday to Friday, or like Monday morning to Friday evening. So the weekends you can spend and weekdays you cannot. I'm not talking about paying bills or anything. No. We are strictly talking about discretionary expenses and discretionary fun shopping. So Monday morning to Friday evening, you're not allowed to buy anything. And then whatever expenditure you have to do, you do on your weekend. And then you wait. If it's an online shopping, you wait. You make sure that if you have 5 parcels coming, till those 5 parcels arrive on your doorstep, so you're not buying something else. So whenever you feel like the urge, while those packages are in trajectory, you tell yourself, why am I buying things now? Now, after 2 days, I'm going to receive a parcel. I will get things over there. Just wait for 2 days, I'll get a parcel. Just wait for 3 days, I'll get a parcel. Just make sure that you have a discipline to have either a low buy or a no buy week, or no buy days, or making sure that you don't buy till your parcels arrive at your doorstep. Try that. It really helped me, so I'm telling that to you. And I actually have a personal rule. In the first week, I pay my bills. In the second week I shop a little bit, like on 2-3 days I shop. And then till those come, I don't spend money. And then whenever those things come, like right now, I am actually expecting 4 packages. Until they arrive, I'm not going to buy anything until unless it becomes absolutely necessary. So yeah, till then I'm just going cold turkey, and then we'll see. We shall see. The third one is, put a timer on online apps. First of all, only have those online shopping apps on your phone that are actually relevant to you. For example, Amazon. If something of an online app that you keep on accessing, keep on buying from, just have your staple apps, and not everything. Not just because an online shopping app exists doesn't mean it has to definitely exist in your phone. Just have 2-3, or make sure you have a benchmark. For example, I will only have 5 or 4 shopping apps on my phone. Have an e-commerce folder separately on your phone, and make sure that it never exceeds that mark. Whenever it exceeds, you got to go and delete one of them. But what I'm actually talking about is, okay, you've got your number of apps done. You have your number of apps, beautiful. Now what you have to do? You have to put timer on each one of them. Whatever, and it definitely depends on priority. If any app is really problematic, put a shorter timer. That, for example, more than 10 or 15 minutes, I'm not allowed to access it. And then it will automatically go blank. Go to the settings of your phone and you can do that. Also, checking your screen time would really help. Like, go and check your screen time where there were no timers on your shopping apps. Do it right now. Don't pause the podcast. It can run in the background, by the way. It's not YouTube. Go and check if what are the shopping apps that you spend the most time at, and see if it makes sense. Are you buying something, or are you just scrolling? If not, like for example, if someday you spend like 20 minutes or 25 minutes on Amazon because you were buying things, you were checking options, I get that. But if it's happening every single day, just go and put a stricter timer on that app. And simultaneously, I definitely think that timers really help, especially if you're endlessly scrolling. The app will tell you that, You have been scrolling for 20 minutes, you have not bought anything. And if you scroll for 2 minutes more, you're going to buy anything, which you absolutely don't need, but you will buy it because this app is showing you, of course. So do that and you'll be sorted. The the last thing is, which has been recommended in almost all the shopping addiction videos that I have seen, is so basically they recommend two things. First is unsubscribe from all the shopping emails, which I personally think is not really practical, because there are so many times when we give email to these online shopping platforms, especially if you don't have an app for it. If you're just buying a one-time purchase and then you do it from their website only, or worse, if that online shopping platform doesn't have an app, so you go to the website and you have to, there are so many times that you have to give your email for the purpose of logging in. So then they say that unsubscribe from their shopping emails. You can do that if you are someone who really thinks that most of the times when you see those emails in your inbox, you end up going on those shopping platforms, and those emails are something that are hitting the nail on the head, and they are working as an advertising tool very effectively for you. For me personally, they don't really excite me. Every now and then I can see that every online platform is having a sale, especially during Diwali or Christmas or New Year. I obviously know that they're going to have a sale, but they never attract me or they never entice me. I go by this proverb that if you don't need it, it's still expensive, even though it's on sale. So, or need it, I'm not saying need it as in need it for your survival, but like it's something that you never ever dreamt of having, and just because it's on sale you don't have to go and buy it. And that is why these personal finance gurus recommend you to unsubscribe from these emails. If it, if you can do it. But if you are somebody who is not bothered by the emails, I would say keep the emails. Sometimes what happens is you're planning on having a big purchase, or you're planning for going for a big purchase, like a TV or an AC or something. It really helps in knowing when the sale is going on. Because sometimes the sales don't happen around the Diwali and New Year's and Christmas time. They happen a week before or a week after. They have really erratic sales days. So if you think that is not problematic for you to know, keep the emails. But then again, see, if emails are something that attract you and then you keep on going to those online shopping platforms or apps, if emails are a medium through which online shopping platforms are able to advertise their sales, and then you end up buying something that you have absolutely no intention of buying before you saw those things on sale, then it's something that you should consider. I think that's very subjective. The last thing, which I also find very quite impractical and hassle-worthy, that shopping addiction or personal finance gurus actually recommend or advise, is do not link your card and UPI or anything with your shopping apps. Again, I am someone who has that, but and I have not been able to opt out of it, because what happens is it becomes really, really hassle-worthy. And then also I think both of these measures are something that you have to customize and see if these are the two measures that you are having a problem with, that you are having your shopping addiction built on these two habits. If it is, opt out. I don't care. Don't link anything to your shopping apps. You'll be much more secure, and you will be much more defensive towards your shopping addiction. So these two habits I would definitely recommend you to implement only and only if these are bothersome for you. Otherwise, because I understand that these two could be a little bit impractical, and especially in these days where we want everything to be fast-paced and we want everything on a click, I understand and I get that if you still have these habits installed. However, having things available on a click, having things accessible on a click is not bad, till that click just denotes or just is an accessibility tool for you and not an addiction. Try making a difference between addiction and accessibility and you will be fine. So yeah, I'm going to leave you on this thought, and I hope that you all gain something from this. And I hope if you have a shopping addiction, or if you have someone who thinks that they have questionable shopping habits, don't feel that you are alone. Don't feel that it's a really bad thing to have, or that you cannot cure it and you cannot recover from it, because it's definitely because it's, first of all, it's so responsible of you to acknowledge it, especially people in their mid-20s who are single, who don't have family responsibilities, who don't have education loans, who have their who are in sectors which have like really sufficiently high paid jobs, or especially people who have really stressful dates. I think we those that section of people tend to spend a lot of money, and that's the only thing that I completely agree with, because you don't have responsibilities, you feel like I will spend whatever last penny I have available to me, and I'm so young, I have the rest of my life to think about these things, and I'm not in this early retirement plan or whatever, so I will retire at 65. I want to hustle all my life. Again, maybe all of these things are true, but I'm not saying that you should only save and you should only invest because you want to retire early, or you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car at this point. Having monetary goals is, of course, practical and necessary, but these are not the only reason why you should save and invest. You shouldn't save and invest only because you have a goal in mind. What if you don't have a goal in mind? What if you have just started earning? That doesn't mean that you start blowing every single penny that you have in your account. Live on this principle that I'm going to give you and that I'm going to tell you. For all my friends out there, just because you have it doesn't mean you have to spend it. All right, I leave you with this last thought. I hope you all have a great day and a great weekend ahead. It's Friday and it's 7:47 right now. I'm actually officially late in recording this podcast today. I have to do something about it. Okay, then I will I will leave you all with a great weekend, which I think you should spend all your time in a fun way, but also in a responsible way, because we are goddamn adulting here and we are responsible, mature, and emotionally sound people. Even if we are not, we are working towards it and we'll get there. Okay, see you guys. Loads of love.